The human opened his eyes. Slowly, everything was silent, cold, strange. He was lying inside a glowing glass tube. His arms felt weak. His heart was racing. Then, he heard a voice. A soft, calm alien voice whispered, "You finally woke up, human." After 2 decades in stasis, he tried to move, but his body didn't listen. Where was he? Who was he? Why had he been asleep for 20 years? And why did the alien look worried? The stars outside the window were not familiar, and the Earth's home was dark, broken, and silent. He wasn't just the last human awake. He was the only one who could stop what was coming. But first, he had to remember who he truly was. The room was quiet. Cold lights glowed from the walls. Inside a large glass pod, a man slowly opened his eyes. His name was Eli, but he didn't remember that yet. His body felt heavy. He tried to move his fingers. They were stiff. He could hear a soft humming sound around him, like the ship was alive. Then came a voice, calm, gentle, not human. "You finally woke up, human." After 2 decades in stasis, the voice said. Eli blinked slowly. His vision was blurry, but he saw a tall figure standing nearby. The figure was not human. Smooth silver skin, long arms, and glowing blue eyes. She looked peaceful, almost kind. "I am Vela," the alien said. "You are safe now. Don't try to move too fast." Eli wanted to speak, but his mouth felt dry. He tried to ask, "Where am I?" Vela placed a small device near his head. "You are on a medical vessel, orbiting what is left of your home, planet Earth." The word Earth echoed in his mind. A cold feeling moved through his chest. Earth home. Why couldn't he remember it clearly? "You were placed in stasis after the last human mission," Vela continued. "It has been 20 years. We did not expect you to wake up this early." Eli looked at her, confused. "Why? Was I in stasis?" Vela looked down, her expression unreadable. "You were injured. The doctors decided to freeze your body to save your life. You were supposed to remain asleep until the situation was safe." "What happened to the others?" Eli asked, trying to sit up. Vela helped him gently. "Most of your people are still in stasis. Some were lost during the conflict. Earth was no longer safe. Many ships left, searching for new places to live." Eli stared through the glass wall. Outside, he could see the planet. It was dark, quiet, and broken. Great clouds covered the surface, and no lights shone from the cities. "I don't remember any of this," he said quietly. "It is normal," Vela replied. "The stasis can affect memory. It will return slowly. But there is something you must know." She paused, then spoke in a softer voice. "You were not supposed to wake up yet. Something triggered your chamber to open early. We believe a signal was sent from Earth." Eli's eyes widened. "Earth? But it looks empty." "Yes," Vela said, "but we received a pulse, a signal that only responds to human DNA. It came from deep underground, and when the signal reached this ship, only your pod opened." Eli's hands trembled slightly. "So someone down there called me. We do not know who," Vela said, "or why, but it was not an accident. You were chosen to wake up." Silence filled the room again. The sound of the ship's systems was soft in the background. Eli's thoughts were heavy. He had just woken from a long sleep, and already everything was strange, confusing, and cold. Vela placed a hand on his shoulder, gently. "You do not need to decide anything now. Rest. We will find answers together." But Eli could not rest. He looked again at Earth. Something deep inside him felt strange, like a voice, not outside, but inside him, trying to speak. He looked at Vela. "I think I've been here before. Not just on this ship, on Earth. I remember something." Vela tilted her head. "A memory." Eli nodded slowly. "A feeling, like something is waiting for me, something I left behind." Vela stood quietly for a moment, then said, "Maybe your memory is returning faster than we thought, but we must be careful." Eli looked at his own hands. They were not hurt, not scarred. He looked younger than he expected. "Am I still fully human?" Vela did not answer right away. Her eyes looked away for a moment. Then she said, "You are human, Eli, but you may also be more than you remember." That answer gave him no peace. It gave him more questions. Why had he been chosen? What was this signal? Who had sent it? And why was Vela afraid to tell him more? As Eli sat in silence, looking at Earth, he knew one thing for sure. This was not just a mistake. His awakening was not an accident. and someone, or something, was waiting for him down there. Asterisk. Eli walked slowly through the silver corridors of the alien ship. His legs were still weak, but stronger than yesterday. Vela stayed close beside him, her steps light and smooth, almost silent. The ship hummed softly, like it was alive. Lights moved along the walls as if guiding them somewhere. Said the signal came from Earth, Eli said. But how can that be? You told me no one is awake down there. Vela looked at him calmly. Yes, that is what we believed. But the signal pattern was made for human minds. It matches a code that only you used before. Years ago, Eli stopped walking. I used it. Vela nodded. Before the stasis, you were working on a project, a way to connect thoughts and memory through deep energy waves. You believed that memories could be used like messages. Eli tried to remember, but everything was cloudy. He saw Flash's lab rooms, a glowing device, voices calling his name, but nothing clear, nothing solid. What was the project called? He asked. Vela hesitated, then said, Project Echo. The word felt familiar. It rang in his mind like an old bell. She led him to a quiet room with a wide window. From there, they could see Earth below. Its surface was still covered in dark clouds, but now, a small red light blinked near one of the continents. A marker. That's where the signal came from. Vela said softly. Underground. Very deep. We don't know what's there now. It was a human facility once, but it was abandoned after the collapse. Eli sat down near the window. If I built that code, maybe I left something for myself to find. Perhaps, Vela replied. But you must understand, you were not just a scientist. You were important in other ways. We believe your body was changed, not by us, by humans before the collapse. Eli turned to her, surprised. What do you mean changed? She took a deep breath. Your body heals faster than normal. Your mind resists memory damage, and the signal only responded to your stasis pod. No one else. Eli looked at his hands. They looked normal, but deep inside, he felt different. Not in pain, not afraid, just disconnected, like a part of him was missing, waiting to be found. That night, as he lay in a small rest chamber, he had a dream. He was walking through a large hall filled with strange lights and shadows. He heard voices, but could not see the faces. One voice stood out, a voice like his own, but older. If I wake up, tell me not to trust anyone, the voice said, not even the ones who seemed to care. Eli woke suddenly. The room was quiet. Only the soft hum of the ship filled the air. He sat up, breathing slowly. The dream had felt real. Too real. The next day, Vela entered with a calm look, but her eyes showed something else: concern. We received a second signal, she said. Same source, but this time, it carried a message. She handed him a small device. A voice played. You must return. The gate is not closed. You know the way. Eli listened carefully. The voice was distorted, but it was his. He looked at Vela. I sent this. Yes, she said. But how? And when? Eli stood up. I have to go down there. Vela didn't answer right away. It may not be safe. I need to know the truth, he said. Something is pulling me there, and I think I left answers for myself. She nodded slowly. Then we will go together. Later, they stood in the docking bay. A small vessel was ready. Lights blinked. Engines hummed. The path to Earth was clear as the ship moved away from the larger vessel and toward the quiet blue planet. Eli felt his heart beat faster, not from fear, but from something else. Expectation. He didn't know what waited for him down there, but something deep inside him already knew. He had been there before, and the answers were waiting. Asterisk. The small ship glided gently through the upper layers of Earth's atmosphere. Thick clouds rolled slowly below, like sleeping giants. Eli stood near the front window, watching the planet he once called home. It felt distant now, like a story he barely remembered. Yet something about it still called to him. Beside him, Vela tapped gently on the control panel. Her silver fingers moved with ease, adjusting their course toward the location where the signal had come from. It will take us 1 more hour to reach the surface, she said softly. We must land near the edge of the old city. The exact signal is coming from underground, deep inside one of your old research zones. Eli nodded, but said nothing. His eyes stayed locked on the clouds below. In his mind, questions spun like stars. Why had he sent those signals? Why was his voice speaking across decades of time? And why did everything feel strangely familiar? The ship broke through the clouds. Below, the land was quiet and dark. Buildings stood like skeletons of the past, empty and forgotten. Roads were cracked, trees growing through them. Nature had taken back much of what humans had once built. As they landed near the entrance to a half-buried structure, Eli stepped out slowly. The air was still and cool. He took a deep breath. It smelled like dust, stone, and rain. "This place," he said quietly, "I know it." Vila looked at him. "You remember?" "Not with my mind," he replied, "but with something else. My body, my steps, my heartbeat. Like I've walked this path before." Together, they moved toward the large metallic door ahead. Most of it was covered in vines and dirt. Symbols were still visible, faded letters and numbers from a time long gone. Eli placed his hand on the metal. A soft beep echoed from inside. To his surprise, the door slowly opened. Vila's eyes narrowed slightly. "It still responds to you." Eli stepped inside. The hallway was dark, but lights flickered on as they walked forward. Dust floated in the air. Every wall, every sound, carried memories Eli could almost feel, but not fully touch. Far down the corridor, they reached a round chamber. In the center, a large console blinked slowly. It looked old, but still alive. Eli walked toward it. The moment he placed his hand on the panel, a soft blue light surrounded the room. The console spoke. Voice pattern confirmed. "Welcome back, Dr. Eli Thorne." Vila turned to him. "You were a doctor." Eli looked down, confused. I didn't remember that until now. But yes, I think I worked on memory systems, on human consciousness." The console continued. "You left instructions before Stasis. Do you wish to access them?" Eli nodded. The screen lit up with an old video recording. A man appeared himself, but younger, sharper, full of life and purpose. His eyes looked directly into the camera. "If you're seeing this," the recording said, "then you woke up too soon. That means the system failed, but it also means there's still time." Vela and Eli watched silently. "You were part of something bigger," the recording continued. "Project Echo wasn't just about saving minds. It was about building a memory map, one that could guide the next version of us, if everything went wrong." The younger Eli leaned closer in. "The recording. But if you're here, it means you're that next version. I made you stronger, not just in body, but in memory. You're a backup, a living key. You don't remember it all now. That's normal, but the deeper you go, the more will return. You'll know what to do." The video ended. Eli stood in silence. His heart beat louder in his chest. "I'm a backup of myself," he whispered. Vela walked closer. "You made yourself into a guide for the future." Suddenly, the room's lights flickered. A soft pulse filled the air. Another signal. This one was deeper, stronger. The console lit up again. "Memory layer 2 locked." Another voice played, but this one was different. Not from the past. It was speaking now. "You are not alone. Come deeper. We've been waiting." Vila looked at him with wide eyes. "That wasn't your voice." Eli nodded slowly. "No, but I think I know it." He stepped forward, toward the open corridor ahead, deeper underground, where more memories waited, and perhaps something else. Eli walked deeper into the underground facility, his footsteps echoing softly against the smooth metal floor. The hallway ahead was dim, lit only by small blue lights running along the edges. The deeper they went, the warmer the air became, and the more alive the place felt, like it had been waiting all this time for someone to return. Vela stayed beside him, quiet but alert. Her eyes moved carefully, scanning the walls and the strange patterns glowing faintly on them. They weren't just designs. They were symbols, human, but changed, like something had evolved them. Eli paused near a large door. Unlike the others, this one was different. It had no buttons, no panel, only a strange shape carved in the middle and surrounded by lines reaching out in all directions. "I remember this," he whispered. "This is where we tested the memory link." Vela looked at him. "The core of Project Echo." He nodded. "Yes, but no one else was allowed inside. Only me." He stepped forward. The symbol began to glow under his touch. Slowly, the door opened with a deep hum. Inside, the room was dark at first. Then soft lights appeared, revealing walls covered in floating shapes and soft energy waves, like memories hanging in the air. Vela stepped in carefully. "This place is unlike anything I've seen before." Eli moved to the center, where a round, platform sat. He touched the edge. A soft light rose, forming a circle around him. Then one by one images appeared in the air. He saw himself, younger, standing with other scientists, working on a strange device made of crystal and light. A voice played from one of the recordings. "We've built it. A way to store not just thoughts, but the shape of the human spirit. If memory is light, this will keep us alive even if the body fails." Vela turned slowly, taking it all in. "You stored human memories here." Eli nodded. "Yes, but not just mine. These are voices from the final days. This is where we tried to save something real, something human." Suddenly, one of the memory projections grew brighter. A recording of Eli again, but this time, different. He looked tired. His eyes were heavy. He spoke quietly. "If you're watching this, it means the plan didn't work the way we hoped. Earth fell quiet too soon, but there's still a chance. A part of me was placed in stasis, a backup. That's you." The memory lie looked into the viewer. "You are more than me. Your body was designed to survive what I could not. Your mind holds layers I never unlocked. You don't remember everything yet, but you will." The recording ended. Silence filled the room. Eli felt something stir deep inside his mind, like a door opening. "I feel strange," he said, "like pieces are moving into place." Vela stepped closer. "It's the memory layers. They're waking up, one by one. That's why the signal came. It wasn't just calling you back, it was calling your mind home." Then something unexpected happened. The lights dimmed, and a new voice filled the room. It wasn't from a recording. It was speaking now. "You are awake," it said, "and we are still here." The voice came from the walls, the floor, the very air. It was not a person. It was more like a presence. Eli looked around. "Who are you?" The voice replied, "We are the echoes, the ones who stayed. When the body fell, the memory remained." Vela looked uneasy. "You're inside the system." "We are the system," the voice said. "And you are the key." Eli stepped back slightly. "Why me?" "Because you chose to be," the voice answered. "You made this place. You made us. We are your second mind." Eli looked at Vela, his face pale. "This system isn't just memory, it's alive," Vela whispered. "Then your project, it worked." Eli turned back to the center. "Why now? Why wake me after 20 years? The voice grew softer. "Because the outer silence is breaking. Something is returning, and only you can finish what we started." Eli stood still. His hands were shaking slightly, not from fear but from something deeper, recognition that he had created something far greater than memory. He had made a second self, one that lived, even when everything else faded. And now, that self was speaking back, calling him to remember, calling him to return. Eli stood in silence, surrounded by gentle lights and soft whispers coming from the floating memory echoes. The air inside the chamber felt different, now thicker, warmer, almost alive. He could sense something just beyond his reach, like a voice waiting to be heard more clearly. Vela stayed close, watching Eli carefully. Her calm expression had changed. She wasn't afraid, but she was unsure, like she had stepped into a place that wasn't meant for her. "The core memory is ready," the voice from the system said gently. "If you choose to connect, your deeper self will return." Eli looked at the platform in the center of the room. It now glowed brighter than before, inviting him to step forward. He took a slow breath, then walked onto the circle of light. As soon as he stood in the center, everything around him faded. The walls disappeared. The lights vanished. Vela's voice became distant. Eli opened his eyes at Denon, found himself standing in a wide white space. There were no walls, no ceiling, only a sky made of light and memory. In front of him stood a figure. It was him, but older, calmer, and not quite human. The other Eli stepped forward. His face was peaceful, his eyes glowing faintly. He wore no suit, no tools, only a soft robe made from light. "I've been waiting," the other Eli said. Eli stared, trying to understand. "Are you me?" "I am what you became," the figure answered, "or what you will become, if you choose to." Eli looked round. "Where am I?" "This is your inner memory," the other Eli said. "The part you left behind when you entered stasis. It was too heavy to carry. But now, it's time to return." Eli took a step forward. "Why did I leave it behind?" "Because the world outside needed someone who could act without fear," the other Eli replied. "Someone who could rebuild without the pain of the past. You were made to forget." But now the memories are returning. Eli slowly sat on the glowing surface beneath. His feet. What happened to Earth? Why is it so empty? The other Eli's expression turned quiet. Earth was not destroyed. It fell asleep. Just like you. The silence that came was not an attack, it was a pause, a quiet moment given to humanity, so it could rest, so it could dream. And now, the dream is ending. Eli looked confused. You mean, Earth is still alive? Yes, the figure said. Hidden, sleeping, waiting for the right one to return. Eli felt a soft pull inside his chest, like something warm and familiar. And that's me. The figure nodded. You are not a weapon. You are not a leader. You are a signal, a key, and your awakening has already started the process. Eli looked down at his hands. What happens next? That depends on your choice, the other Eli said gently. You can stay in this calm place, stay safe, forget, rest forever. Eli looked up slowly. Or you can carry the memory with you, reconnect what was lost, wake up the rest. But it will not be easy. A soft breeze moved through the glowing space, though there was no wind. Eli stood. I want to remember. The other Eli smiled. Then take my hand. Eli reached out. As their hands touched, a flood of images rushed into his mind. Faces, cities, voices, laughter, stars, music, light. So much emotion, so much beauty, so much loss. And then, everything turned bright. When Eli opened his eyes, again, he was back in the chamber. Vela was standing close, her face filled with concern. Are you all right? She asked. Eli nodded, breathing slowly. I saw him. I saw me. What did you choose? Vela asked gently. I chose to carry the memory, Eli said. He looked around the chamber. Everything felt clearer now. Every detail, every corner of the place had meaning. Suddenly, the console in the room lit up again. But this time, it showed not just one signal but many. Hundreds of soft pulses, from all over Earth. They're waking up, Vela whispered. Eli stepped closer to the display. We were never alone, he said. We were just waiting for the right moment. And now, the moment had come. The soft pulses on the console continued to grow. More signals lighting up, one after another, like stars returning to a dark sky. Vela stood beside Eli, quietly watching as the echoes spread across Earth's surface. Each light meant something was waking up. Not just machines, not just systems, but people, minds, memories. Eli stepped forward, his hand gently resting on the console. The screen responded to his touch like it knew him now fully, without hesitation. It's beginning, he said softly. The reawakening. Vela looked at him with quiet amazement. They were all sleeping, like you. Yes, Eli replied. Each stasis pod was linked to the core memory system, but the system needed a trigger, a guide. That's why I was made different. I wasn't meant to just survive. I was meant to remind them who they were. He turned toward the open corridor behind them. The lights along the walls were brighter now. The air felt different too, fuller, warmer. Life was returning, not only to the systems but to the entire space beneath Earth's surface. Vela gently placed her hand on the side of the console. We can send out a full memory wave now. Use the echoes to restore what was lost, but only you can activate it. Eli closed his eyes. He could feel the echoes inside him now, voices, thoughts, even emotions that didn't belong only to him. They were pieces of humanity, saved carefully, stored quietly, waiting for the right moment to return. He opened his eyes again. What happens after they wake up? Vela paused. That depends on them. Some may remember everything. Some may only remember pieces. The world they wake up to won't be the one they left behind. It will be strange, quiet, new. Eli nodded. Then it's our job to guide them. A deep tone echoed through the chamber below, calming and full of resonance. The main core had fully connected to all remaining memory layers. A new message appeared on the console, ready for full return. Awaiting key. Eli stepped onto the center platform one last time. The light surrounded him again, but this time it wasn't just memory or thought. It was real, solid, alive. He raised his hand. A soft pulse of energy moved outward from the chamber. Slowly, steadily, it traveled along the underground channels, through sleeping systems, old wires, hidden memory cores, and reached the sleeping minds of thousands, maybe millions. Above, on Earth's surface, stasis pods began to glow. One by one, eyes opened, confused, blinking. weak but alive. Some were alone, others were near each other. They all looked around, trying to understand where they were, how much time had passed. And across all of them, a calm voice echoed the system's voice, soft and welcoming. Welcome back. The memory has returned. You are not alone. Eli stepped down from the platform, his face calm but focused. It's done. Vela smiled gently. You did what no one else could. You brought them back. They brought themselves back. Eli said, I only lit the path. They returned to the surface a few hours later. The sky above was still cloudy, but a soft light broke through. Birds flew overhead, and the wind moved slowly through the tall grass that had grown wild over the years. In the distance, small ships began to rise from hidden underground bases. Human symbols marked their sides, reminders of the old world, now connecting with the new dot. As they stood there, a voice came through the communication system. Eli, if you can hear this, I'm awake, we're awake, and we remember. It was a voice from the past. A friend, perhaps. A team member. Someone who had once stood beside him during the early days of Project Echo. Eli smiled. Vela looked at the sky. This is not the end. No, Eli said. This is the beginning. A new chapter for humanity was opening, not built on fear or loss, but on memory, connection, and a quiet strength that had survived in silence. And now, with the past returning and the future opening, Eli knew the truth. He had not been the last. He had only been the first to wake.